Hi, beloveds. It's been quite a week. The elation many of us felt Wednesday morning learning the outcome of the United States Senate races in Georgia was tempered quickly and profoundly by the armed insurrection and attack on the U.S. Capitol building at the urging of the President, Donald Trump. I was reminded this week, as I told the crowd at a vigil, of what Bishop John Selders of Moral Monday, Connecticut says. I do not believe in law and order. I believe in grace and justice. And because of this, I put my faith, my trust in the possibility of hope and moving forward to a better day. Hope is not just mindless optimism and powerless wishful thinking. It is something that we hold on to that gets us to the next step, to the better day. Admiral James Stockdale said, "You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be." Hope is a cornerstone of Unitarian Universalism, but the brutal reality we currently face is that nearly half of those who voted in last November's election are hateful, violent bigots who are disassociated from reality, or they have no problem with those who are. Either way, it is the same. We cannot afford to chant the refrain that this is not who we are when we see brainwashed white men in MAGA hats carrying guns and bombs and nooses into the Capitol, because unfortunately this is exactly who we are as Americans, nearly half of us. This reminds me of what Dietrich Bonhoeffer said about the difference between stupidity and malice, and that stupidity, ignorance, is more dangerous than malice, hate, and evil. He said, "Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. One may protest against evil, it can be exposed, and if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, and that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protest nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradict one's judgment simply need not be believed. In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical, and when facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential, as incidental. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious one, is utterly self-satisfied, and being easily irritated becomes dangerous by going on the attack. For that reason, greater caution is called for when dealing with a stupid person than with a malicious one. Never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reason, for it is senseless and dangerous." Because ignorance is such a formidable foe, I put my faith, my trust in our Unitarian Universalist living tradition and its sources of wisdom, especially humanist teachings which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science and warn us against idolatries of the mind and spirit, like Trumpism and QAnon. The Unitarian Universalist Association released a statement this week, and I offer the briefest of summaries of that to you. The Unitarian Universalist Association joins leaders across the country in calling for the immediate removal of Donald Trump as United States President. President Trump and other national leaders, including members of Congress, must be held accountable for inciting insurrectionist violence by spreading lies and false claims of election fraud and attempting to usurp the will of the American people. We call on every member of Congress to act on their sworn constitutional allegiance and tell the American people the truth, that the presidential election represented a free and fair election. We call on our government to take this attack on our democracy seriously. White supremacist violence is the greatest threat to public safety and our democracy. We must use this moment as an opportunity for profound reflection and awakening, not just in a momentary outcry, but as a basis for significant and lasting change. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition is rooted in the values of human dignity, justice, compassion, and democratic principles. We will remain vigilant in our commitment to protecting our democracy and the integrity of its principles and the rights of all its people. My dear ones, we saw this week in the insurrection at the Capitol a true, living, vivid illustration of white supremacy culture. We thought if Black Lives Matter had done such a protest, they would have been met with a force which was not to be reckoned with. The show of force would have been absolute and from the beginning. And yet mostly white men, armed and dangerous, were allowed inside the Capitol. If we ever needed an example of the racism that still controls our thinking and the white supremacy culture upon which our entire society runs, there it was, live on video. I hope that you will not lose courage or faith or give up on democracy, our country, or our neighbors who may be led astray. Help and hope are on the way with a new administration in Washington, but there's still much work to do. I look forward to joining you in that work as winter becomes spring, sickness becomes health, and a divided country reckons with our history and begins to create genuine beloved community. I love you, and as I've said from the beginning, we will get through this the only way we can, together.